coming up on the Middle Class VO podcast.
My eyes got ahead of me, and I said, "Oh shit! I see the word donkeys. I'm in trouble."
That's great.
Oh man!
If you need e-learning, we're just an email away. Corporate narration, tell us what to say. Explainer video, imaging radio, slinging local cars, reading IVR. No, we ain't no stars. This is the Middle Class VO podcast. The Middle Class VO podcast. The Middle Class VO podcast.
And we are here, another episode of the Middle Class VO podcast, our first kind of guest. We have guests on this time, Bobby, so it's our first one of the year to have guests. I'm excited about that. And
I needed people. I needed to see or feel people.
I know, exactly. I can't wait till we can go out and see people in person, but we have our first recurring guest on the Middle Class VO podcast. Woo-hoo! JJ Wilson is with us.
Woo-hoo! JJ Wilson is back for the first time.
And I am pleased to introduce for the first time on the Middle Class VO podcast, she is one of us. She comes from radio. She is right there in the trenches with us, working on VO every single day. From New York, Long Island, it's Linda Bruno. Hi, Linda.
Hey, Linda.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. We are excited about today's episode of the Middle Class VO podcast. We're going to do another round table, Bobby and I are. And Bobby's in Cincinnati, Kevin here in the Nashville area. And it's funny, as the crow flies, JJ and I figured this out last week that we're like less than 10 miles from each other?
Yes, and we've never met.
That's
Never
crazy.
met
Are
in
you
person.
kidding me?
No, we lived in Miami at the same time together, and our paths crossed audibly, but never in person. And here we are, in the same area all this time, have never met in person. And then the pandemic hit, and, everything.
What part of Nashville are you in, JJ?
I'm in a lovely town called Greenbrier, which is northwest, about 20 minutes northwest of Nashville. It's a very small town.
Love your town. Yeah.
Very small town.
Yeah, I think that's where Dave Hoffman lives, too. So the water is really good for VO people over there.
Wow.
Apparently.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's dive into this. JJ, we know JJ's history a little bit from previous episodes of the Middle Class VO podcast. And of course, JJ made the top 10 list of our top 10 moments from 2019.
Oh,
so
I wasn't
knows a little bit
aware.
about. Yeah.
Wow.
Your Sophia Loren story was just fantastic. And so we had to include that. Just love hearing that story. And I'm sure you're going to regale us with other tales today. But I want to bring Linda on board.
Yes.
And Linda, tell us a little bit about your history, your background in radio and singing as well, and how all of that led to voiceover.
Okay. Well, the crazy part is that JJ was the first person to ever produce my demo when I was 22 in 1992.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's awesome that we're...
You were like 8 at the time, right?
Yeah.
It's great that we're such good friends now and work together. But I was in Miami as well, like you guys were too. And my father was in advertising, and he said, "Do you want to come down and see a voiceover session happen?" And at the time, Connie Zimmett. Do you know Connie Zimmett,
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody from that area, I believe, knows Connie.
The
That's worth their
legendary
salt
Connie.
anyway.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and so she was the voice of the company that my father worked with. So I went down there. I was 18. I watched this woman in this little glass booth, do these things. And my dad was directing her and saying, "Take a second off here, take a half a second." And of course, she nailed everything. And I thought, whatever she's doing in that little box, I want to do that. And thankfully, she was coaching. She was coaching these small classes. And I think she did it as a favor for my dad so she wouldn't, not get paid. So, but thankfully, I had some talent, so it wasn't a complete waste of time. My parents even pulled her aside and said, "Just be honest with us. If she's not good, just tell us."
Oh, wow. Well, that's good,
Not
though.
like-
That's good for you.
Yeah. Not like Connie would ever, have BS'd
No,
anybody.
she wouldn't hold back.
Right.
Not Connie. No.
Right. So she let this little shy 18-year-old go in and take this class it was all radio people trying to get in a voiceover, right, JJ?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Bunch
JJ
of
was
people.
producing. Yeah. JJ was running the board. So.
And I was already kind of doing VO then because I was doing production for 3 radio stations, and it started to blossom at that point.
Mm-hmm. So I wound up meeting him then, working, coaching with her, and she pulled me aside and said, you should do this for a living. You could make a lot of money. That's all I had to hear. So my path took me through radio, like so many of us go, because I needed to be near a microphone. So I started in Fort Myers, Florida, working in radio. And then I said at 27, it's now or never. I'm going to make the jump to New York and get an agent and try to get union work. And I've been here ever since.
Wow.
That is fantastic. Real quick, I want to hear about your song, your single. You had an actual single released, right?
Yes.
Tell us, because I listened to that, and that is a very danceable track, Linda.
It's so awful. It's awful. That Miami sound, that really cheesy Miami sound? Yeah. Well, a friend of a friend owned a record label. I'm saying this very loosely. And the guy was like, hey, come sing a song. And my studio is in my basement. Now, today, somebody says that to you, you'd be like, suspicious, right?
Right.
And I have candy.
Right.
That's right. Ignore the white windowless van outside.
Right.
I didn't think anything of it. I was like, ooh, I get to sing on something. So, it was a cover of Bobby Caldwell's What You Won't Do for Love, but a dance version with all that cheesy Miami stuff.
Yes.
So I sang on it and forgot about it. And then I think I made like $1,500 because it sold really well in Italy for a while.
Italy.
Wow. It's the last name, right?
Right. But that was it. That was my big success.
I love
with
that a new
singing.
song from Linda Bruno.
Yeah.
Big in the
Very
dance
danceable.
clubs.
Yes.
Big in the dance clubs.
It
So.
goes a tip-a-tap.
That's funny.
Well,
now,
we're all going to Google it now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you can probably,
Linda,
yeah.
please. What is the name of it again? And it's under your name?
Yeah, it's actually, if you look up Shade featuring Linda Bruno, and the song is, I don't ask me, I don't know. And the
So
song 70s. Is What You Won't Do for Love.
It was from the 70s?
The name sounds like it is,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's from
Yeah.
the
Okay.
90s. Like
Because if you look up the police records in Miami, you'll find my name from the 80s.
Really?
different records.
Oh, different
Yeah,
records.
exactly.
Sorry. Okay.
But it's on YouTube, right, Linda?
I don't know. I've
I
only
think
found
that's
the
where
audio.
I saw it.
Oh.
I think I saw it on YouTube,
Okay,
but
Kevin,
we'll
you
check
have
that
to
out.
find it and pop a little bit in.
I think we should all
Yeah.
take a break and go listen is what I think right now.
Well, while we're in between moments, first of all, JJ, why don't you talk about your connection with Linda and the fact that you guys also have your own podcast, and tell us the impetus of that. I know it comes from wanting to help people out who otherwise might have been being bamboozled by others in the industry.
Yes. Linda and I really never lost touch throughout all of these years.
That's awesome.
I kept hearing her name. I kept hearing her on things, and we traded agents and things like that. And we've just been working very closely together for, I don't even want to say how many years.
A very long time.
But yeah, we she's kind of somebody that I call, like you're becoming, Kevin, somebody I call to go, you know what happened today? And it's kind of a moan session is what it is.
Yes.
And,
Kvetching a little bit.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I would get demos from people, and I would say, so where'd you get this done? And they would say a name of a company, which I'll leave out, and I'd say, oh, how much did you pay? Oh, no, $6,000. And I went, oh, good. Could you send me the demo? And I went, sure. So I listened to the demo, and it was better than mine. So what I did that day was I called the guy back and I said, okay, I'm going to send you 3 pieces of copy. I need them back in a half an hour, deep breaths, and ready to air. No music. And he sent me 3 of the worst things I've ever heard in my life. And I called him back and I said, so how long did you study before you did the demo? And how long did it take you to do the demo? And he said, well, it was like 2 months. And I went, all right, well, you can't learn to be a nurse in 2 months. And then the demo, he said, yeah, we did it over the course of Monday to Friday. And I just, that's when I started talking to Linda, and I was telling that story, and she said, we ought to start a podcast and be very real about this business.
Yeah.
And we both decided it would be good we had not the podcast, but we had a workout the other night, and somebody had a demo from some major company, and I don't know, it just wasn't there.
I got tired of seeing, because I have a physical studio here on Long Island, so I would have students come here and be upset that they were not having any success with the demo. And then they would tell me that they'd spend $5,000, $6,000 on all of this, and it was killing me. I thought, this is wrong. You're being lied to. You're being sold the dream of voiceover. And, New Yorkers, we don't have, mince words. So I was like, I'm going to be honest and tell you that this isn't good enough, and you weren't ready to make that demo. And then that's really why I started coaching physically here and brought in JJ, remotely. And then from there, it just took off. It's like, you know what? We were in radio. It makes sense to do a podcast, but it's really a no BS podcast. We talk about our daily lives. We talk about all the crap, and some of the good stuff, but mostly our own session.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we just kept feeling sorry for these people. And
I want to help them.
The bottom line is that you've got to be able to live up to the demo that you send out.
Right.
If you can't copy that in a couple of minutes for a client that's on the phone, they're not going to call you again. They're going to go, oh, here's another one of those demos from another one of those places where they took too long to produce it. And they can't get it done in time, or any time. And the other day we were working with somebody, and I did an hour lesson with him, and it was a rough hour. I got to be very honest.
Yeah.
It really was. Then he sent me his demo, and my God, it was fantastic. So I actually called him and I said, just a quick question, where's the guy that was on the demo today? And he said, well, I did this and did that. And I went, well, there you go again.
Yeah.
And I said, you need help to get to the point of where you actually are in your demo.
I was going to ask both of you this before, Kevin, you even brought it up, because I'm on the social media, the group chats a lot with the beginners. And that is probably one of the most asked questions, like, when am I ready for a demo? Can I make my own to begin with? And hearing both of your stories and your backgrounds, I mean, we're all from radio, so of course we were called into production to do, spots. And then in my case, the production guy kind of put together a little demo for me to start working at the PTPs and that, but wouldn't even think about going to agents or anything until I had a professional demo done. So it's interesting to hear both of your story on when you officially went to get a professional demo done.
Yeah. And I think everybody starts with a fake demo. Yeah. I know I did. I know Linda did.
You got to start somewhere.
And then the first one you book, if it's good enough, you say, may I have a copy of it, please? And then if it's something that's playing that people will really hear, start your demo with it. Take the fake one off and replace it with the real one first. So, if you're like, I do the sandals, and that's what my demo starts with, because it's a pretty well-known product, and they go, oh, this is the guy who does sandals. And maybe they won't even listen anymore. They'll just say, yeah, he can do this. So you slowly replace the fake with the real, and then you become ridiculous about it, and you start doing it every week.
As long as you're proud of the spot that you did.
You do something good and you go, I can take that out and put this in, but I really like that, but I don't know.
You know what? I never put perfect bacon bowl on my demo.
Oh no? Well, that's because you lost the account to me.
I know. If I'm going to lose it to anybody, that's fine.
Is that a true story?
Yes.
And you knew each other at the time?
So Linda was the voice of the direct response retail sensation, the Bacon Bowl, and you lost that gig to JJ?
Yes.
Yeah. Suddenly it was done, and I heard it. It was JJ.
It's a bowl made of bacon. Oh, God. Yes.
I know.
Yes.
I know.
I don't mind losing stuff to Linda. I just don't.
Well, there's a lot of direct retail stuff that comes out of the Miami area, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's what I thought. We're so glad to have you guys on. I want to do a little teasing of what's coming up. We're going to get we have some regular features on the program, one of which is called Nightmare Sessions, where voice actors talk about sessions, or even directors and management and that sort talk about sessions that could not have possibly gone worse. We're going to get a story from Linda coming up in just a little bit. And then we are going to challenge J.J. Wilson with the Cold Read Challenge coming up in just a bit as well.
I've got to run.
I forgot I had a thing.
And everybody before you, by the way, JJ, no pressure, but everybody before you have been stellar. Okay.
Oh, God. Thanks, Bobby.
No pressure. No pressure at all. But
I know it's in Chinese, right?
exactly. I'm going to say. I'm setting you up for success, JJ.
Thank you.
I think you're going to crush it.
All right. Is that the copy you sent me last week that I've been working on for 4 or 5 days?
Yes. No script needed. It's memorized.
Okay.
So, guys, let's talk about the whole. Linda, first of all, are you union? Are you SAG-AFTRA currently?
I am FICOR.
Okay, perfect. And JJ, we know, is a union member, and Bobby recently joined. I am the only stalwart of this group, I guess, as far as holding out on joining the union. Now, this last week, Bob Bergen started a campaign for the union to change and to adapt and to evolve into the current voiceover landscape. And JJ, let's start with you. And what is your opinion on union nowadays? And do you think Bob Bergen is spinning his wheels?
It's possible. I was a 3-term president of AFTRA back in the 90s. And I will never forget sitting at the conference table there having a meeting. And I have to admit that most of the people sitting around the table were not working much in the voiceover field. A couple of us were. And they started talking about a strike. And I went, I just got back. This was in the 90s. And I said, I just got back from doing South Florida Ford dealers. And I made like $2,000. And you want more money for that? I was there for 12 minutes. It took me longer to get there than it did to do this. Yeah, I said, you're being greedy. Don't do that. This is insane. We talk. We're not saving lives. We're not. And they didn't listen. They voted me out and went on strike, and I lost everything. I was out of work completely for a year because I was trying to do the right thing and stay with the union, but I lost everything.
Wow.
Ford, South Florida, Florida Lottery, Channel 4, a news announcer, everything that was union was gone. And I went from shopping at Macy's and I was raising 2 children on my own at that time, to shopping in thrift stores.
And you put your children to work.
I did. Well, as a matter of fact, I did. They did do some voiceovers. They're still the voice of the Fire Island Lighthouse tour. My daughter was 4, and my son was 6, and that's another funny story, but I'll tell that a different time. But I don't know. It would be nice if they did. I think as an organization, I think they'd make a ton more money.
Yes.
A ton more of us would have health insurance.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All they have to do is just look at Voice 1, 2, 3 for an hour, and they can base their entire thing on that.
Yeah.
You know, they're new rates, and just come up with a new rate pattern. That's all. 7, because when you get paid for a car spot through the union, then you have to add 39% to it for taxes and pension and welfare, which is fine. You know, I'm going to thankfully, I do have 2 nice pensions from the unions from when I was in the unions. But there's got to be a different way to do this. You know, for saying 5 words, I'll tell the guy, well, just give me $50. I'll have it to you in 3 minutes. And in 3 minutes, you've made $50. You know, if it's, just a quick tag or something, but otherwise it's 300. And they're not going to go for that, not in today's world. And unless you're an LA, Chicago, New York bigwig making a ton of money, or a newscaster, things like that. That's usually union. But I consider myself to be the middle of the spectrum. I'm sitting at home, and I don't have to worry about that stuff, and I don't have to, walk around New York City all day waiting for auditions. I did that for a while, and it went very well. I was quite surprised at how much money you can make doing that. Yes. But I didn't want to raise my kids there, and I didn't want to work that hard.
Yeah, it is hard work.
It really is.
What do you think it took Bob Bergen to make this step? Because, I mean, if you talk to somebody who's supporting the union, do you think his income has been compromised because of it? And that's finally what led him to
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
I think that they keep raising the threshold for the insurance qualification. When I was working, it was like $8,000. Now it's 33. And I'm sure Bob Bergen makes that,
way.
but it is going the wrong way. And it's because there are too many of us middle people now for them to compete with. So they're either going to have to lose or join us.
Right.
And I think maybe if the right people, powerful people and very talented people like Bob Bergen go after it and get a lot of people behind him, I think it's possible.
Yeah.
Did you guys get the questionnaire yesterday? And I'm thinking it might have something to do with all of this. The questionnaire that's floating around to voiceover artists only.
No.
And it asks if you're union. I'll send it to
Okay,
you
I didn't
because
get it
it's.
either.
They say to pass it on. But it took like a minute or two to fill out. But it asks questions like how much work do you do? What percentage of your work is union? What percentage of your work is pay to play or marketing? And what genres you're in?
Am I allowed
So
to use a
will
decimal
forward that.
point?
Less than.
Sure. Let's be specific. Linda, I want to ask Linda about, because I think we're all in the pay-to-play world here.
Yeah.
Linda, what are your thoughts on the pay-to-play world for voice actors just coming into it? And you know how some people will poo-poo the pay-to-play world. What are your thoughts on that?
Caca! Oh, no, sorry.
Tell us more.
No, I think that it's a great place to start. I think it gives you a chance to audition. You get a chance to see various scripts and, what producers are asking for. And if you can just make that initial investment, I think it's a great training ground, and you can gain clients from it. I mean, years and years ago when they were first starting out, I built a great client base through the pay-to-plays. I got Verizon, for crying out loud. So
Wow.
you can get some really good jobs. It's just, now the fray, there's so many people auditioning that it's just going into that grind and just saying, I'm going to audition. I'm going to do so many a day. But I totally recommend it. I think, why not? Why not throw your hat in the ring if you can?
Yeah, I found Bobby via pay-to-play. And Linda, I think that's how you and I connected, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think you were looking for auto chicks.
Yeah.
Auto chicks.
Yeah, auto chicks. I'm always looking for an auto chick.
That's my search term, auto
Can
chick.
May I jump in and add something to that?
To the auto chick? Sure.
No. Don't say jump and auto chick in the same sentence, okay?
Exactly.
I agree totally with both of you. But I also think that that's part of the problem. They're like AFTRA and SAG are going too far north, and some of these pay-to-plays are going too far the other way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I used to call Voice 123 on a weekly basis and say, you got something listed here. It's a 10-minute video, and you're offering $100. Are you out of your mind? And she would say, I didn't see that one. I must have missed it. And I said, well, this is my 9th week in a row of calling you and letting you know what's going on your site. I said, you're going to lose me. And she said, well, it's hard to keep track. And I went, well, you're wrecking the market.
Yeah, I would add, too, that just because you're just starting out, you shouldn't be doing bottom of the barrel rates.
No.
No. It's like, don't put yourself on sale when you haven't even gotten any clients.
Oh, God, then I shouldn't start the $4.99er site?
Right. We talked about that.
Oh, good grief.
I don't know, Val.
Because you know what? Every time you take one of those tiny little rates, they are the worst at coming back and saying, can you do this
Right?
again?
I love that
the worst
site. You know why?
Every single
I
time.
love that site. You know why?
Why?
Because as soon as they get done with them, they call me and they go, that guy sucked. And I went, well, what did you expect?
Yes, exactly.
How much will it be? 200. Oh. Well, I said, do you want it to sound like his or do you want it to be arable? And in 3 minutes. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Yes.
Well, Linda, let's dive into a little bit more about what you're doing on a day-to-day basis here on the Middle Class VO podcast. Our philosophy is we're always in the middle of our career, so we're always striving. We're well established. We got the meat and potatoes coming in, but we're always looking for those cool national gigs as well. Bobby and I both work in a lot of automotive, e-learning, radio imaging type stuff. And I know, Linda, I send you stuff monthly through a good client. But what other stuff are you working on? You're welcome. What other stuff are you working on besides automotive on a regular basis?
My main bread and butter is promo, actually. So I have been, luckily, the voice of Disney Junior for Southeast Asia for 12 years.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Bobby does some overseas promo work, too.
Oh, yeah?
I do. Yeah, for a Dubai Kids Network. It's called eJunior.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
So similar genres.
Yeah, promo. If I could do everything promo, that would be a gift because I love doing promo work. But I do some TV stations. I was a voice of HSN for 6 years.
Yeah, I did know that, too.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
So that, I would say, is still the majority, well, not the majority, but it's a good portion of my income. Excuse me, car dealerships, of course. But I do have my regular longstanding clients that are still doing some retail, even though that's been, a little iffy, due to COVID. But I have that. And I've really kind of dived into doing some more networking and reach out, which is something that I got very lazy about the last probably 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
And,
isn't marketing the worst?
Oh, I hate it.
Oh God! It's a trap.
This makes me chew my nails.
It's a trap because you get clients, you're doing great, you get busy, and then you don't think about the fact that I might lose one and I need to find another. And then you're like, I'm so tired because I just did all this. Oh, I have all these clients. Everything's great, And then the next thing you know, one's like, guess what? We're using another voice. And you're like, oh, okay. Now I got to get myself out there. So I have been remiss at making that a regular part of my routine, but I'm getting myself back on track with it.
What about you, JJ? Are you doing a ton of marketing?
Oh, gosh.
I'm going to guess no.
See, I called Frank a couple of weeks ago, but not much, no.
But that was about the itch you had.
Yeah. No, that was for a doctor's appointment, and I can't go into details. Since I have the agents around the country, none of them the big New York or LA agents. I just have the medium-sized ones, but they're all wonderful. And, we all do 5 or 6 or 7 auditions a day anyway, and to me, that is marketing.
Yeah, I do that as well. Mm-hmm. The auditions are definitely primary.
That's the way I market today. It's because I know I'm auditioning for 7 different clients in one day. But if you send them all demos, they're going to go in the garbage because they get, 100 a day. So I think the best way to market right now is just to find an agent who will take you on.
Yes.
And book one with them, and they just love you to death.
I agree. I mean, so the agents are still a major part of my auditioning.
It's not like the old days where I'd send a reel to somebody, and the funny thing is about the old days is if you sent somebody a demo, it could be a year. And they call you and they go, wow, that demo was really good. And I said, I brought it over a year ago. Yeah. And I said, well, yeah, it's been sitting on my desk, didn't get a chance to hear it. And then, so sometimes they call you immediately and sometimes it could be a year.
I have it happen with newsletters that I send out, and I only send out like a quarterly about my business. I don't like to inundate people with stuff.
I would do 4 times a year instead of that, Linda.
Okay, good advice.
That's a much better number than quarterly.
You're welcome.
But I noticed that people will hang on to the newsletter, and they'll reply to me like 2 years later to book me for something.
Do they really?
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, you know what? They've obviously remembered that, and it's valuable because you get another client out of it.
Or they're not unhappy during the pandemic because they ran out of toilet paper.
True.
Hey, speaking of the pandemic,
Yes.
do you
And
guys
toilet paper.
see
Toilet paper.
and toilet
I'm feeling a
paper.
little flushed. Hang on. Okay.
Obviously, 2020, we had no idea what was going to book and what kind of auditions we're going to get. What do you see any genres that are just going to explode this year that we can make, good jack on?
I'm hoping the cars come back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The car spots, they really did deteriorate because the production facilities for cars closed down for 3 months.
You can't go wrong, though, moving forward with anything medical and healthcare. I mean,
Yeah, there's a lot of that now. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to work on a new reel or, getting your chops fresh, I would dive into medical because there's just so much now out there. And that's going to be the focus.
I'm getting a little annoyed with it, though, because I just turned 60, and now everything has do you have, Oh, come on.
Yes.
Jeez.
Right. So
Before we get too much further and let time get away from us, because I could chat with you guys and do the podcast with you for hours, but we all don't have that. We probably should be doing some auditions too. But
I don't.
well, and you got something to get ready for. You got the cold read challenge coming up in just a second, bud. But Linda,
Yes.
let's talk about nightmare sessions. We have Bobby and I have shared some of our worst horror stories that we've gone through during a session, and in some cases it involves an audition where you get callbacks on the audition, and anyway, etc.
Right.
So Linda, please tell us, share with us a nightmare session that you have experienced.
Nightmare sessions.
the sad part is that I could give you levels of nightmares.
Oh, no.
I'm trying to give you, because I've had nightmare auditions in person. I've had sessions that start off really badly. Like I had to go into the city to do a session for Ortega, and I walk in and there are 7 separate people with seven separate opinions plus an engineer in the room. And one guy says to me, he goes, "You know what? I'm the one that didn't want you."
Oh my gosh!
Nice to meet
That's
you.
New York.
Yeah, and I said to him, "Well, thank goodness the other 6 did, right?" I mean, and I haven't
Nice.
even started the session at that point. But no,
And you're in tears by this point.
oh, God, you have to have nerves of steel. But as far as a full session goes, here at the studio, my partner Dave, who produces, and he does voiceover as well, we had this client. They were clicking in remotely, phone patch, and it was 5 people on the phone. Okay. Half of them on speakerphone, which just drives me crazy because they can't hear properly,
Yeah.
So the first read I do, they completely pick it apart. Second read to the 10th read, completely pick it apart. Not happy. Then they start questioning the studio quality. And they're asking Dave, "Is this a real studio? Because it doesn't sound right." And I'm thinking, you're on phone patch on a freaking speakerphone. So we're just kind of like letting it roll. The lead person directing says, "Oh, don't get used to us because you're not going to be like the voice of any of our other commercials." And I'm like, "Okay."
Good grief.
Right.
Oh, see, Linda, you're a better person than I. I would have told them to.
Well, it wasn't really my client. It was Dave's. So I'm just the talent.
You
at
had to
this
play
point.
nice.
Right. And, Dave is rolling his eyes and trying to stay calm. So by take 40, they like what they think they hear. And the woman says, "Oh, keep that one. Keep that one. I really like that one. But just do it again, okay, so we have another one." So all Dave does is play back that one that I just did. Okay. And what does she say? "No, it doesn't sound anything like the one that I liked."
no!
Yes.
No.
And I am sitting there thinking, when is this session going to be over? Finally, thankfully, Dave is great at smoothing over stuff. They agree. "Okay, we got it." They were kind of cranky. We got off the line. Well, guess who became their voice for the next 4 years? Me.
Nice.
Seriously.
Wow.
That is funny.
And after that, every session, we'd be like, "Oh, God, it's that session." And then they were the nicest people. It was just that one session.
Wow.
They're like bullies,
I
aren't
wouldn't
they?
have made it through
It's
it.
like, what
I
can
think
you
it's a
take?
power thing. They just have to feel like they're in control, or I don't know.
Because they can't do it. They can't do what we do.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. Oh. It's all control.
So aggravating. I'm aggravated for you.
I was just going to say, Kevin, I've never heard you so mad before. You're like ready to punch the wall.
I had one.
Last week
I gotta tell you
when I called?
Yeah. I want to tell you something really
Go
quick.
ahead, Linda.
Sorry. So I had a nightmare audition once. I'm in the city. I'm in front of a casting director who is extremely pregnant. And I guess she was feeling hormonal. And I did my read and she burst out into tears. And she goes, "Not like that. That's not it at all." And
Oh my gosh.
and told me to leave. Yeah.
Whoa.
She told you to leave?
Yeah. So,
Wow.
yeah, hormones.
Okay, here's a quickie. Did a session at 3 o'clock with a guy. He sent me the copy. I read it, sent it over. He called. He said, "Great, I want one change." He sent over the change. I recorded it. I sent it back. I never heard from him. An hour later, I gave him a call. He didn't answer. An hour later, I gave him a call. He didn't answer. He had passed away between... Yes.
That needs to be in a book.
He had passed
Right?
away.
Seriously.
He had a massive heart attack and died at his desk listening to me.
Is your read that good?
And then I did a helicopter tour once for Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, and it's just an awful story. But I never did them again. I said, I'm not doing these anymore. But as I was saying, if you look out the window, you'll see the ground is coming up very quickly. And the helicopter crashed.
What? It did?
Oh, no.
Yes. And I said, I'm not doing these anymore. I'm not going to take that chance.
Wow.
It was awful. So, yeah.
I thought you had done that as just kind of a joke take or whatever.
No.
And,
well, I did. I didn't actually say that, but I mean, oh, my Lord. You know, look at the beautiful mountains. They're getting closer.
Kevin, we really do need to write a book. We need to accumulate all these stories.
These are great stories.
Crazy stuff.
These are great stories. Well, we're going to get on to the Cold Raid Challenge with JJ. JJ, I'm going to send you an email. It's going to include a Word document. You pull it up.
Yes.
Read the direction, the voiceover direction aloud, and then you dive into the read.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Sure. It's not one of those 6-paragraph directions, is it? I want you to be tall, but windy.
No. It's about 5 or 6 words.
Okay, good.
And the script is around 30, but no need to worry about timing. I want you to pay attention to the direction mostly. I just hit send on that. So, JJ, please give us a play-by-play.
I'm going to go take my baby aspirin just in case.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
JJ,
I got my nitro ready.
How do you act windy, JJ?
Oh, here, I'll show you.
Show me.
Cold Read Challenge.
All right, J.J. Wilson, Cold Read. I am opening up the file now. I read this one yesterday. What a coincidence.
No, you didn't.
No. Direction, luxury resort retreat commercial, smooth, opulent, inviting. In these uncertain times, we want you to feel safe when you're ready to travel. And nobody knows that better than JJ's House of Pain. We all have protocols in place for your safety. The dungeon room is equipped with ultraviolet sanitation wands, along with the usual assortment of whips and battery cables. Our rubber room features latex outfits that have been used less than 5 times each for your protection. Plus, the Jell-O room at JJ's House of Pain is guaranteed to be 50% bacteria-free or your money back. Finally, to ensure your safety, we temperature check our donkeys on a daily basis. Rest assured, your next visit to JJ's House of Pain will be stress-free and safe. However, if you feel uncomfortable, remember to use safety phrase, surrender, Dorothy. For more details, log on to www.jjshouseofpain.whip.
Yeah!
Who wrote this? I love it.
Yeah.
Your daddy right here wrote that, just for you.
It, Kevin. I love it.
Fantastic.
JJ's House of Pain.
That's fantastic.
Oh my gosh. I told you I'd set you up for success.
That's classic.
Wait a minute. We temperature check the donkeys?
And you didn't break stride there at all.
I did not break. My eyes got ahead of me and I said, oh shit, I see the word donkeys. I'm in trouble.
That's great.
Oh, man. Oh, that went about as good as I could expect.
Oh, that was wonderful, Kevin. Thank you very much. That's almost as good as I did a read the other day for the equivalent of Cologuard on how to do the procedure. And they didn't have any of the video written. And I had to stop every 3 seconds and go, what is the man going to be showing? Do not overstuff fecal matter into the tube. And I'm going, get in there, darn it. Oh, that was wonderful,
Oh, my
Kevin.
gosh.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for being on the Middle Class VO
So
podcast. And Linda Bruno and JJ Wilson. Hey, Linda, tell us about your podcast and your workouts that you have.
Okay, well, first off, the two of you have got to come on our podcast now.
Yes.
Oh, we'd love it.
Right?
Oh, yes, that would be
We
great.
would have so much fun.
You
it's
wait
the
till the
voice-
copy I give you, Kevin.
Oh boy, he's got time to plan. It's the Voiceover Gurus podcast. You can pretty much get it wherever you get wherever normal podcasts are are
Sold.
sold. Yes. And it's just real talk about the industry. We're on episode 57 that I just mixed. And
Nice.
yeah, we're asking for listener questions at this point because, you kind of get to a point where you're like, how much else can I talk about the voiceover industry? But it's great. Yeah. And our workouts, we do workouts a few Wednesdays a month. And it's JJ and I. We only allow 6 people, so everybody gets enough time to read scripts. We provide the scripts, and it's really current stuff. It's whatever we're auditioning with. And we coach for 2 hours, and we have a great time. It's affordable. It's $50 for the 2 hours. Plus, you get to hear other people. And we have, JJ, right? We have like a range of levels of expertise. So we have people that have never even spoken on a, on a microphone.
Marceau was on the other day. It was amazing.
All the way to working voice actors. So, but it's a lot of fun.
I think we have Evelyn Wood next week. I'm not sure.
Goodness gracious. And Linda, what is your website in case somebody wants to reach out to you?
Sure. It's voiceover.guru or lindabruno.com. So.
And JJ, what are your specs? How can somebody reach you?
Because JJ's going to get the job anyway, Kevin.
jjwilsonvoices@gmail.com.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks so much.
So
and
much
I do
fun.
have an update on Linda's song.
Oh.
It has, at this hot minute, it has 81 views on YouTube.
Really?
And
Since 1992?
No. This version was uploaded in April of 2020. So there's still hope. So if you want to go on YouTube and put in What You Won't Do for Love remix featuring Linda Bruno, you will find it.
And the shade.
All right, but before I listen,
yes.
Kevin, I'm going to need to borrow your size 11 high heels, if that's all right. I want to be able to dance to it while I'm listening.
I'm a little alarmed that you know exactly what size shoe I wear. Creeper
I'm
alert.
your work wife, and I don't even know.
Well, I'm much taller on radio. So.
Oh, guys, thanks so much for being on the Middle Class VO podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll have to do this again sometime
Okay.
for sure.
About 4:30?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Great to talk with you guys.
Thank
Likewise,
you, guys.
Bobby. Likewise.
The Middle Class VO podcast is a K2 Media Productions production.
All views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts and guests. The McVob jingle was written and produced by Kevin.
Co-produced and performed by Chloe Dolandis.
Additional engineering by Zach Zimmett.
Bobby's hair and makeup by Rebecca Adlita.
Kevin's wardrobe by Slippery Pete's Fashion Emporium.
All previous episodes are available for download on Podbean.
For the Middle Class VO podcast, I'm Tracy Thibodeau.
I'm Lisa Lou Perry.
Thanks for listening.
And don't miss the next episode of
The Middle Class VO Podcast. The Middle Class VO Podcast.